I've seen this commercial a lot.
It's an elegant EV.
Elegant. Okay.
With 389 horsepower.
389 horsepower? This thing must be a muscle car beast.
It's a beast.
It's electric.
With an edge.
Oh.
I'm so glad that there is an EV muscle car out there, especially when the government is not drilling. Or, wait, are they drilling? Maybe I'd rather have a gas car. I'm confused. I am seeing EV commercials, and I feel like they are misleading.
And one can go 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds.
Speed is
And all
touted.
emission free. But don't get an EV for the E.
No, not for the environment.
Get it because it pins you to your seat.
Oh, for power. It may be asked the question, what commercials are out touting the greatness or even superiority of EVs? What do these commercials reveal to us? Hello, all you wonderful car freaks out there. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I am Burke, you are watching Road Odyssey, and if you like the videos that I provide, well, please subscribe. And if you're on Rumble, please follow. I would appreciate it very much. Let's get going. Car commercials. Don't you love them? Some are fun and exciting while others are full of hot air. I want to talk about fully electric vehicles and their commercials. Not hybrid so much, primarily plug-in EVs. I'm admittedly 100% against EVs. Well, to a degree. Therefore, I can see EV commercials from my more cynical view. I've looked at some of the newer EV commercials and found them to be fairly typical. Initially, EVs were touted as machines to save the planet, an environmental must. More recently, I noticed that the commercials have taken a different slant. Not to say that the elements of the new commercials don't replicate previous talking points, because they tend to, such as utility and function. I just see a twist by which the commercials add or amplify the more immature and emotional aspects of EVs and less of the logical common sense perspectives.
Hey, boy, that car. What's wrong, officer? Boy, you're in a heap of trouble. Violation of City Orders 11-14, operating a racing type vehicle inside the city limits. Oh, officer, this is the new Dodge Challenger RT. It's not a racer. Hey, what kind of tires, them, boy? Optional polyglass GTs. Racing tires. Them stripes, that boy, what you call those? Racing stripes. I suppose that's a reconverted lawnmower motor. Optional 440 Magnum V8. What's that doohickey in there, boy? Well, that's a new optional slapstick racing shift. So look, it's got concealed wipers, and it's got dual headlights. And you don't find that on any racer, do you? Careful, boy. Our bookkeeper's that's a law officer.
If you can handle the way people react to your 1970 Dodge Challenger, you could be Dodge material.
Now look, boy, I know a race car when I see one.
But let's go back in time, reboot our thinking for a second here, and see what the original selling points were for EVs. Environmental concerns. Pollution is the number one reason I would think of to have an EV. Thomas Edison thought that EVs were superior technology and would work better. Even Henry Ford worked with Edison to produce a low-cost electric car. Let's run down some of these superior EV reasonings. Number one, environment. To reduce pollution. Well, hopefully. They are all around safer. Not sure about that. They're cheaper and easier to maintain. Well, let's see what happens to electrical prices as the years go by. No longer have a pump gas or spend money on gas. Yeah, well, you're just going to spend more money on electricity. Total cost of ownership is lower. Nah, don't know about that because these are just throwaway cars. They're not going to be collectible. Anything else, why keep them? It's expensive. More charging stations are popping up. Yeah, well, we're going to need a ton of charging stations, especially if the mileage of these things don't get much better. You'll support the electric vehicle industry. Well, okay, so I'm donating my time and money to EV manufacturers. So what this is saying is, if you really care about the planet, you'll support a great cause. Yeah, I guess, but why don't these manufacturers just make what we want to begin with? These superior EV selling points have a whole lot of reality behind them. As far as cleaning up the pollution, don't know about that. Safety, there are lots and lots of safety issues with electric cars. And then just supporting all these manufacturers to save the planet, this is role reversal. They're making us buy these cars so that they can make money and then save the planet. I just want to see technology save the planet, and then we buy into it. Now, in contrast, when I looked at the EV commercials of today, I saw very, very little in terms of addressing all of those superior, important points advocating the purchase of EVs. Actually, everything pointed to all of the opposite and really being very similar to gas vehicle commercials.
See what I did there? And we have the God-given right to save the muscle car. So go ahead, sentence us to life without reason, and throw away the keys. We don't need keys where we're going. All muscle, all electric.
Real quick, here are the commercials that I looked at. There's about 15 of these. SUVs, there were 5 commercials. Nissan, Dodge, Acura, Ford. Muscle cars, sport cars, Dodge, 2 of them. Trucks and vans, 4, which is Ford and Chevy. And I looked at some various commercials, 3 of them, Doug DeMuro and Chevy EVs in general. But really, these various videos, commercials, I kind of ignore a little bit. On these charts, I never gave any more than 4 points to any one selling point for a commercial. Here's my first main chart of selling points, going over such things as luxury, sex appeal, safety, environment, handling, agility, toughness, power, and anything positive about batteries. While I did look at Doug's commercial, his video on EVs, namely the Nissan, I ignore it for the most part. Just wanted to let you know I did review it. The GM EVs commercial, that didn't have a lot of substance to it at all. It was just a feel-good EVs are for everybody. And then the Chevy EVs commercial, it was extremely generic. And again, just an emphasis on just connectivity to people. While making this chart, I ultimately realized that these commercials had nothing to do with the environment or with how great the battery packs are. Yeah, a little bit. But overwhelmingly, this is all about handling, agility, toughness, power, muscle, speed. So, no, yeah, a little bit on the batteries, but it wasn't actually all that great. And a little bit on luxury, but again, not that great. This makes my point that EV commercials are all about thrill and less about environment. You can make a bit of a more fair look at this by taking out the 2 charger videos. By doing so, power, muscle, speed, all of that counts for less, but still outweighing the other selling points, especially any mention of safety and the environment. This tells me the manufacturers know really what pushes our buttons. What do we want? This second chart I made is more of an emphasis on the attitude, the background feel of these commercials. It was very, very obvious in these commercials as to whether or not they were hitting a mature audience or an immature audience. If they were emphasizing utility and logic versus adventure, and whether or not they care about the environment and the uses of the car in different weather conditions. From every commercial I observed, a lot of adventure and escapism, tipping the scales on immaturity and performance. Yet maturity did ring clear overall, especially when I remove again the 2 charger videos to make this a bit more fair. I was still frankly surprised to see so little mentioned about extreme weather and the environment. Or should I be surprised? So what does this tell us? EVs are presented as something they are not? Presented in immature ways, adventure, power, speed, while not emphasizing care, environment, safety, economy. Why might this be? Safety may be implicit due to most cars nowadays pretty good in the safety respect, although firefighters would probably disagree. But the lack of economy and environment might be because the majority of people capable of spending so much money on these EVs just simply do not have environment and economy as a valued priority. I really have enjoyed making these charts. It was fun getting these commercials, going through them and thinking about them and just seeing how the my bias points kind of worked out. And I really don't feel like I've been overly biased, despite the fact that I really am. So, I know electric cars are going to get better. And for a lot of people, EVs are the cat's meow. They just aren't for me right now. Do you think my charts are just really, really bad, really wrong? Do you kind of think I'm in the ballpark? My opinion is that all of these commercials really don't address the environment, working in the weather, battery usage, the concerns that we as consumers have relative to EVs that gasoline cars don't have so much. On the flip side, these are nothing but car commercials. So you might just say, this is typical manufacturer car commercial output to the public. They are meant to entice and incentivize people to buy a car. It doesn't really matter if it's a gas car or electric car. It's just in this case, they are electric cars. And the propaganda for selling these is pretty much the same for any car. So that is, I guess, ultimately my spin, even though I'm really spinning it more towards the immaturity, the adventure, the power, things like that. I really think they're trying to upsell that aspect of EVs and really ignoring some important other topics that need to get resolved.
Went electric.
Up to 360 miles on a single charge.
And if my dad's on board, yours could be next.
Honestly, I'm not good at reading comments, but ignoring that, please comment down below. Eventually, I will read what you have to say, and perhaps I will create a better video or do different analysis and get back with y'all under different circumstances, perhaps. So, anywho, with that, relax, take it easy. I'll see you later. And you know what? Thank you for watching this video. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're on Rumble, please follow. Bye.